Spider-Man, Spider-Man versus the Lizard by Susan Hill. Peter Parker. Peter is a regular kid with a big secret. He is also Spider-Man. Mr. Jameson. Mr. Jameson is Peter's boss. He wants Peter to take pictures for his newspaper. Mrs. Connors. Mrs. Connors needs Spider-Man's help. The Lizard. Mrs. Connors' husband has had a terrible accident. He has turned into the Lizard. Can Spider-Man find a cure for the Lizard before it's too late? Welcome to Florida, Parker, Mr. Jameson said. Now, get to work. Yes, sir, said Peter Parker. But what is the story? He asked. Mr. Jameson wrote on a pad. Here's the headline, he said. Peter read it. Monster lizard loose in swamp. Peter took his camera to the swamp. It's quiet, he said. Suddenly, Peter heard a terrible roar. He leaped into action. I may be a skinny kid on the outside, Peter said, as he put on his mask. But I'm also Spider-Man. Spider-Man swung toward the sound of the roar. Then he saw something horrible, big and green. Gee, how did a little lizard grow up to be a big green monster like you? Said Spider-Man. And what's with the lab coat? The monster roared at Spider-Man. I used to be Dr. Curtis Connors until I drank this potion. Now I am the Lizard. The Lizard lashed his tail and knocked Spider-Man down. Hey, watch that thing, said Spider-Man. I am making a giant lizard army, said the Lizard. I will rule the world. That's a slimy thing to do, said Spider-Man. The Lizard picked up Spider-Man in his powerful claws and threw him into the air. Spider-Man landed in a tree. Talk about a crash landing, Spider-Man said. There were big, hungry crocodiles under the tree. Time to floss, said Spidey. Spider-Man shot out strong webs and shut the crocodile's jaws. Then Spider-Man saw a house. The name on the mailbox was Connors. Spidey swung down on a web and knocked on the door. A woman answered. She was crying. She told Spider-Man she was the wife of Dr. Connors. Underneath that lizard skin, he is still my husband, she said. He is Dr. Connors and the Lizard in the same body. Dr. Connors is just like me, thought Spider-Man. I'm a kid and a superhero in the same body. Mrs. Connors showed Spider-Man her husband's lab. This is where he made a potion to regrow arms and legs the way lizards can, she said. He wanted to help people, but something went wrong. Dr. Connors is a good man trapped inside an evil monster he can't control, said Spider-Man. I must find a cure. Hours later, the cure was ready. I've done it, cried Spider-Man. The lizard must drink it before it is too late. Just then, the lizard came in. Perfect timing, said Spider-Man. Spidey tried to grab the monster, but the lizard slashed his claws and snapped his jaws. That's a cold-blooded thing to do, said Spider-Man. Spidey sprang away and shot a web. The lizard broke it with one thrash of his powerful tail. The lizard opened his jaws to roar. Spider-Man saw his chance. He poured the cure down the monster's throat. The lizard thrashed and roared. I can't tell if it's working, cried Spider-Man. But suddenly, the lizard's skin became flesh. I'm human again, said the doctor. And I never got any pictures for my story, Spidey said quietly. Thank you, said Dr. Connors. It's good to be myself again. It was hard to be one thing on the outside and another on the inside. I know, said Spider-Man. Believe me, I know.